Staying on the Epstein list, we have a question from Weibo here in China. They asked if your name somehow came up in the Epstein list. How would you deal with it?
I'm the last person ever to appear on an Epstein list. Obviously, I have only horror of that circle, which I've known all my life. I've been in Parliament most of my adult life. I've known all these people. I don't drink alcohol. I never have in my life. So I never set foot in one of the Parliament's 19 bars. I'm faithful to my wife. I don't go to parties. I don't gamble. I don't take drugs, and so on. So I'm the last person to fall into that kind of circle. But if I were in that circle, I would now be resigning and retiring. Thankfully, I'm very far away from that.
Untouchable.
Yeah.
The next question comes from Weep in Yap on YouTube. This is an interesting one. When will the British return China's national treasures still held up in the London pirate den?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just mentioned Elgin. We have stolen the Elgin marbles from Greece, which is a partner in the European Union for decades. It's a member of NATO, but we still don't trust them to return their treasures to their own country. We have the Benin bronze in the British Museum. British Museum's a wonderful museum, but most of it is stolen property, including Chinese stolen property. But China seems very forgiving and certainly patient. Perhaps that's a better word. And one day, I'm sure that China will say, and they won't have to ask, they'll tell.
It's time.
The British, it's time.
Yeah. Let's hope for that day to come sooner than later. JJ on X asked, between the US and Britain, which is the most propagandized, and has historical trust in British mainstream media news, especially BBC, led the British public into a false sense of being accurately informed?
Well, in our house in Scotland, we overlook a lot of farmland with a lot of sheep. And I gaze in wonder daily at the single sheepdog corralling hundreds of sheep, not just into a circle, but then onto a truck to take them to their demise.
Good metaphor.
One sheepdog can control a lot of sheep and march them to their death. The BBC is that sheepdog. The British media is that sheepdog. Nobody brings them to a Congress and tells them this is the line that we are taking, but they nonetheless know what line they should be taking. And it's the line of British imperialism, of globalized capitalism, and against the British national interest. And they all follow it. So which is the more? I would say, you'll be surprised at this, that the British is the more propagandized. Because, first of all, the Americans have Second Amendment rights, or First Amendment rights, I beg your pardon. It's the First Amendment for a reason. They have the right to free speech. So you cannot be prosecuted in America for speech. But you are prosecuted daily now in Britain for speech. We have the highest number of people in jail, people under arrest for social media posts of any country in the world. The kind of thing they used to say about China, kind of thing they used to say about Russia. It's true in Britain. Last year, we had 12,000 convictions. That's 1,000 per month for social media posts that the state didn't like. Maybe I didn't like them either, but that's not the point. If you claim you're a free country, you have to be a free country. But we are far from that. So the American First Amendment rights guarantee a certain plurality in American information. The reason I'm in China now is I have put myself self-imposed exile. Why? Because I know that my social media power is now so great that it is putting me and my wife and my work, most importantly, in danger. I'm waiting for the knock on the door to tell me to pull the plug out and stop broadcasting. And as I have no intention of doing that, it's better that I do it from Shanghai than I do it from the United Kingdom. How about that?
It's so draconian. I want to chuck in a question here. It seems, well, it's true that one of the main tenets of Western-style electoral democracy is media freedom. Do you think that's one of the problems with electoral democracy, especially with how easily manipulated and bought media is in the West?
Well, I hope you won't think this too rude, or your audience won't, but our democracy is two cheeks of the same backside. They are separate, but they are identical. They stand for exactly the same things. So, as some wise man once said to John Pilger, in China, you can't change the party, but you can change the policies. In the West, you can change the party, but you can't change the policies. So which is the superior democracy? I say China's is the preferable democracy, because in China, look, China's changes in 40 years have been so profound. They would not have been made if a party was competing with another identical party, which pretended to disagree with them, for an election which comes up every 4 years. China's democracy allowed it to change its policies so profoundly, and led to the success of cities like Shanghai and many, many other lesser-sized cities also. So it is indeed a problem of British democracy that it pretends to a pluralism which doesn't actually exist.
And it leads to a real lack of stability. I don't know if you know, but right now in Shanghai is the 2 sessions, and they're about to release the next 5-year plan. That seems like a dream. Like, I wish in New Zealand we could have such long plans. They even have even longer plans, 35 years, for example. Can future planning at that degree and this sort of stability that comes with it happen in the West?
No, because we have to pretend to be against the policy of the government party. So even if the government was telling the truth, which it very seldom does, even if it was right. I'll give you an example. You have 50,000 miles of ultra high-speed rail. We have none. None. The Americans have none. But I would say the last 20 years in Parliament, I've been listening to interminable debate about a high-speed link from London to Birmingham, which is a journey of only 100 miles, and was only going to shave 12 minutes off the journey time. But it hasn't happened yet. And I'm talking 20 years of agony, of stopping and starting.
Back and forth.
It will never happen. So our system mitigates against ultra important national strategic infrastructure developments. Our system simply negates that, and it never happens. I mean, our country, compared to your country here, is going down the drain, as everyone in Britain knows. That's a very sad state of affairs.
Let's hope it can turn around soon. The next question comes from YouTube. This is another interesting one. What do you think about Jimmy Lai, and will Starmer be able to bail him out? Or even want to?
I'm sure he would want to, because Jimmy Lai was an agent of theirs, and every country that has an agent who is captured has a kind of moral obligation to try and bring them out. My position is this is entirely a matter for China. It's entirely a matter for the courts in Hong Kong. And they have imposed the sentence that they have. If, and it's a big if, Jimmy Lai is in the health circumstances, condition that they claim he is, well, it might well be an act of compassion to mitigate that sentence. But it's not my business, and it's definitely not Keir Starmer's business.
I heard he's losing weight, and then they released records that show he's put on weight since he's been in prison. So that might also be a little bit of a farce. Yeah. Dennis on YouTube asked, should the UK apologise for the Opium Wars and the destruction of the Chinese people who became addicted to it?
Of course they should, but they won't. The British Empire, which was so large, the sun never set upon it. Although, as my Irish grandfather said when I told him the teacher had said that to me, he said, well, God would never trust the British in the dark. And I never had grounds to disbelieve him. And so the British imperial crimes in Africa, in Asia, all over the world, we controlled 35% of the entire world's population, 25% of the whole world's area, global area. You'd have to do a lot of apologizing from slavery to occupation. So I'm one of these people who, this will be unpopular with some, I don't place much store in apologies. I'd rather you make reparation than apologize.
Talk is cheap sometimes,
Yeah.
especially to the Chinese, I've found.